Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. And I hope that you will stay. And if you're just joining in and you've been with me for a while, peace and love, and I appreciate your continuous support. All right, this is maybe but like the third time I'm remaking this video because I just want to bare my soul. I want to be like 100% bare in my soul because there's so many hurt and pain in this world, so many trauma, and most times we're looking for something that we can relate to. The last week when I did my channel, I spoke about my hair because all these years growing up, I was told that I was so, ugly, and my hair, and I never showed my real hair, and that's just a tip of the iceberg towards the amount of trauma and the amount of blockage and the amount of things that have been going on. And I know a lot of people are suffering in silence because they are looking for information that they can really connect to. And I never really understand what being in alignment was. I thought being in alignment was just being good and, being nice and that's it, you're aligned. No, being in alignment is being truthful to you, truthful with who you are, what you're about, what your intentions are, just bearing your soul, coming 100%. So this is where I'm at and this is where I want to go and I don't know how to get there. Okay. So I really wanted to come to you guys with growth, talk about growth, and I was wondering what does growth really meant. And then I came across this video of this guy. It's called Garion Jones. Look him up, guys. He's a really good you're not gonna be disappointed. Garion Jones. Look up his story. And his story was that he was a guy that used to have girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend, coach to coach to coach, thousands, hundreds of $1,000 in debt and all of that. Mother was sick, just, everything was rock bottom for him. And he didn't know. And he said every time he would open his mouth and he would say, can things get any worse? And every time he would say that, things actually got worse for him because he never understood the language. He never understood that a lot of people are suffering today because of how they speak. A lot of people are tied down, they're spelled in their words of negativity that keeps them down. Have you ever spoke to someone that's less fortunate than you are and you'll say, how are you? I'm hanging on. How are you doing? I am fine. People use words, but they don't really understand the meaning of it. And the more you use words that doesn't align, doesn't resonate with your soul, it ties you in a type of situation of negativity and it weighs you down and it keeps you down. So he never understood that. So he had to cry out. He had to cry out to God and say, God, I'm tired of this life. What am I doing wrong? Show me, show me, show me. And God showed him that he never had a relationship with himself. He never spent any time to really connect with him, ask himself, who is Garion Jones? A lot of us don't have a relationship with self. We're in relationships with other people, but there is no relationship with us. We don't know how to spend like our own time, having quality time with self, going out by yourself, walking in the park by yourself, doing a lot of things of fun by yourself. I'm sorry, excuse me. A lot of people don't have that because we completely forgot that inner child inside of us, that little vulnerable side. And he mentioned something else that really struck me. It was like a light bulb when he talked about this. He said, imagine you have a child, right? It could be a little boy or a little girl, and that little child keep tugging at your pants, and you're there talking to that person, and you're there paying attention to this, and that child is saying, daddy or mommy, please, I want this, I want this. And he says 5 years pass, 10 years pass, 20, 30, 40 years pass. And he said, would you have a relationship with that child? And I was like, no. He said, that's your inner child. We don't have a relationship with self. We don't have a relationship with self. So a lot of times we'll think that it's the other person that's the problem. If this person could just be this way, if this person could only be that way, if my job was only this way, if this place that I live was only that way. But we fail to realize that things are the way it is because we are that way. You know, we don't have a relationship with us. We're completely out of alignment. And it's saying that our inner world affects our outer world. So what we have inside, most times it will project and it will reflect inside. So the thing is, when you embrace nature, when you're happy and filled and overjoyed and stuff like that, nature embraces you. When you're down and out and depressed and stressed and anxiety and stuff, what could get worse? What could get worse? The worst thing comes to you, right? So we don't have that relationship with self because deep down inside a lot of us, we're not really happy. We don't have that genuine happiness. We don't have that kiddies joy. You remember that little girl joy, that little boy joy? We don't have it, you know. We're preoccupied with life now, and we have ignored that little boy, that little girl inside of us that keeps tugging and say, do this, do that. And when he said that to me, that was like a light bulb that went off inside of me. And then the more I meditated and the more I reflected, I realized that there was things that I liked to do. I started to remember my childhood. What was I like? I remember that I loved to draw, you know. I remember that I loved to write poems. I remember that I loved to speak. And I was like, huh. I didn't even remember these things because sometimes the caregivers that you'll have or the parents that you'll have in this life that we have right now, they don't have the best coping skills or the tools that is required to make us into the best beings that we are. And I remember growing up, my mother was so stressed. She was always stressed. She was always down. She was always angry. And I always wanted to reach out and say, Mom, I love you. We're going to get through this. Just trust in God. We're going to get through this. And I was so scared to reach out to her because of all that anger. I was so scared to reach out to her. And that anger and that stress, and it just spiraled over on us, you know, the abuse, everything, it spiraled over on us. And I remember like everything came to a tipping point for me when all my poems and all my drawings, they were burnt in front of me. I was told that this would never amount to anything. It will never get anywhere with this. This is rubbish, you know, and they were just burnt. And I talked too much. And for years, I don't know, I got silent and I got angry. Deep down inside, there was just this anger. I never knew where it came from. I always say that if situation gets so bad, I get so angry because I never knew how to use my words. I never knew how to express myself. I never knew how to talk how I was feeling. I never knew how to say, no, I don't want this from me. I never knew how to set boundaries, you know, and I would take anything because I think that anything is acceptable. But the more you evolve and the more you learn, that's how you evolve. You evolve by knowledge. Knowledge comes from continuous learning. The brain grows. When the brain learns, it fires and wires together. So people, please, never you stop learning. There's always something that's new to know, and there's always something that you can teach somebody. All right, and what we should do as well that can help somebody to evolve and grow. Start setting goals again. You're not too old. Kentucky, the Colonel, he started his fried chicken business in his late 40s, 50s, something thereabout, and it got established in his 60s. That's because he had a dream and he believed in his dream and he pursued his dream. But And there's so many others examples of people, Les Brown, that became a motivational speaker at certain point, a great Jim Rohn. So many inspirational stories of people that something spark and they still achieve their dreams. I think a lot of us are unhappy deep down inside because we grew up and then we forgot about our dreams, or we grew up and said, oh my god, we're stuck in this situation, we forgot what we used to love. And when I say dream, I'm not talking about anything too big or too exciting. It can be you used to love to sing. You can sing to your children now if you have your children. They would love it. You used to love to dance. You can dance now. Dance to your family. They will love it and you'll feel happy and alive again. You know, anything that you used to do that used to bring you joy, I'm telling you, start to do it again. It's such a freeing feeling when you just start to let go and embrace that side of you again. And the other thing is, I was always a nature person. I completely forgot about those things. I forgot about certain side of me because I got disconnected from my inner child. I don't even remember that I used to love nature. I remember seeing my pictures as, you know, I remember looking at pictures and so why I'm in this bush. I want me always in them a bushy area, trees. But I completely forgot that was a part of me when I was little. So I started to embrace nature again. I'm starting to write again. I'm starting to draw again. And I am speaking, and I'm gonna speak like there is no tomorrow, guys. Just doing what you love again. And that will help your relationship. That will help your relationship with your kids. That will just start turn your inner world into your outer world, because when you're happy inside, you're gonna attract happiness outside. If you're a happy person inside, there is no way you're gonna have like a quality relationship or a stable relationship or a happy relationship. You're gonna always be blaming the other person. You're gonna always be seeing the other person's fault. If this person could only do this better, that person could only be that way, or whatever it is. And there's some toxic situations today you just have to just remove yourself out of. Worse, when there's people that will never see themselves, people that is not doing the inner work. Because a lot of times we compress, we suppress, we compress, and we dump a lot of garbage within. Garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. Happiness in, fulfillment in, joy in, joy out. So you have to be joyful, and the more joyful you are, is the more joy that will come into your life. And you know, before you know that, certain things become effortless, guys. But we have to do the healing, and healing is a journey. It's not a destination. Healing is a continuous step to step to step to step. It's climbing up the ladder of being well. It took years to mold you and shape you into this person because of all of the programmings that you were programmed, society, the internet, how you grew up. All of those things are circulating in your head and they're playing out in your life, right? But the quality information that is there to give you a quality life, you're not consuming it, you're staying away from it. Consume it, indulge it, learn, grow, walk in nature, slow down, observe the trees. Sometimes the tree that stands alone is a tree that spread its branches the widest and the biggest, and you know, and then you'll see some trees, they're clustered, there's other trees stifling them, holding them back. And those situations are when your environment is not good. You need to, you know, get away from it or do something about it. So growing, guys, is a part of learning. When we learn and we grow, then it's easier for us to let go because we have evolved. And then you can look back and say, that's where I'm coming from. I don't think I want to go back there. You know, you evolve and you grow, you become a better person, you become a better being. It all boils down to doing the inner work. Your inner world affects your outer world. Your inner world affects your outer world. Start working on you. I remember, I love to tell stories. I'm sorry. I remember when I was going to school. school, in my class, I believe it was 8th grade, 8th or 7th grade thereabout, the teacher was having problems with us learning. The teacher kept on saying for some reason we cannot grasp what they're teaching. There was just something wrong with the class. We weren't learning. And this teacher, Mrs. Roberts, shout out to you, Miss Roberts. You did a great job. I always remember this that she did. She told us all to get a journal. And we got the journal. And every day we came to school, she would say, write what's on your mind, write it out, write out what's going on your mind, how you feel, write it out. And the more we wrote, the more we write down, it's like a burden being released. We keep on getting a release, a release, a release. And she would read. Sometime I would see her at her table crying, because then she found out that a lot of kids are in the classroom and they're suffering, you know. They're having bad situations at home, but they have nobody to talk to. The journal was a way for them to speak, to be heard. You know, and the more we did that was the more we start to learn. Our brains began to free up and we got stuff off our chest. We got stuff off our mind, you know. And we started to learn. So that's some of the coping techniques, guys. Start writing down stuff again. If there's things bothering you, grab a journal, start writing again, start reading again. You know, start doing what you love again. And the more you evolve, it's a better and a more quality life you will have. And start setting goals again. Did I say that? Start setting goals again. Start loving life again. So that's it for now, guys. And I hope somebody got something out of this. And see you guys next time.
Slow down, hold on, take a breath.